So I know typically on this channel we talk about politics, but politics specifically in regards to America. Why? Because I'm an American and I live in America and I was born in America and I've been here my entire life, okay? But in this video, I would like to talk about politics from a different country, specifically Norway. So Norway recently had an election and there was a change in government. And I want to speak about it because I thought it was interesting and I want to compare it to what you see here in the US because a lot of people just are ignorant to the fact and just completely are unaware of how other political systems are ran outside of their own country, that one this time being the United States. So this is a Reuters article. Norway's left-wing opposition wins in a landslide, coalition talks next. So September 13th, Norway's center-left opposition parties are on course to win a majority in parliament after Monday's election and will now negotiate how to form a coalition, with climate change and a widening wealth gap expected to be central to discussions. Conservative Prime Minister Erna Solberg conceded the election and will step down after 8 years in power, while the Labour Party leader Jonas Gahr Store said he intends to form the next government. Norway's status as a major oil and gas producer has been at the heart of the campaign, although a transition away from petroleum and the jobs it creates is likely to be a gradual one despite progress by pro-environment parties. To form a viable cabinet, Store must persuade potential center-left partners to compromise on policies ranging from oil and private ownership to Norway's relations with the EU. With 97.5% of the votes counted, Labour and four other center-left parties could swing to a combined majority of 100 seats, up from 81 currently. The Directorate of Elections projected a minimum of 85 seats is required to win a majority in the 169-seat parliament. If the projections prove correct, Store could form a majority consisting of the Labour Party, the Centre Party, and the Socialist Left, which are on track for a combined 89 seats and avoiding having to work with the Marxist Red Party or the anti-oil Greens. Getting the rural-based Centre Party and the mostly urban Socialists to govern together could be difficult. However, as the two take different views on issues from oil to taxes, ruling in the minority could also be an option for Labour. Store says his government would focus on cutting CO2 emissions in line with the 2015 Paris Agreement, but has rejected any ultimatum over energy policy. He has also pledged to address inequality by, here we go, cutting taxes for low and middle income families and hiking taxes for the rich. Now, I want to start off with that ending statement. First of all, that is an incredibly popular thing to campaign on, no matter pretty much what country you're in. You know, if you're here in America, the overwhelming majority of voters would like to raise taxes on those that make the most money, and middle and low income families would love to have their taxes cut. Now, they never do get their taxes cut because it's always tax cuts for the people that don't need them in this country. Donald Trump's 2017 tax cut bill is the most prime example of this, right? When 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%. But that's what it is. So I would like to brief you, if you aren't aware, on the political parties of Norway. Here we go, because this is amazing. Now, here in America, you're aware of pretty much the Republican and Democratic parties. Now, there are third parties, but those third parties are largely handicapped, and to many Americans, they virtually don't exist because they can't get on the ballot in many states, and it's this entire debacle, but I won't get into that. But as far as Norway goes, we have the Socialist Left Party, which I would reckon that if I was Norwegian, I would most likely be a part of this party. You have the Labour Party, the Centre Party, the Green Party, the Liberal Party, the Christian Democratic Party, the Conservative Party, and the Progress Party. Now, I just want to state a disclaimer. I probably should say at the beginning of the video. I'm no expert on Norwegian politics. My ineptitude, I'm sure, has shown by now. If it hasn't, then that's amazing, but I don't dabble typically in Norwegian politics, but I thought that this was amazing, so I wanted to talk about it. Now, in regards to their Conservative Party, Norway's Conservative Party has been in power for the last 8 years. They recently got dethroned by the Labour Party, And the Labour Party is seeking to form a coalition with I believe it's the Center Party and the Socialist Left Party. Now, the Socialist Left Party and the Center Party, I believe, also gained seats in this specific parliament, so they're even stronger as well. Um, but as stated previously, they can rule in a minority, but they're looking to form a majority. So basically, what it is, and I didn't know this either, Norway produces 25 times more gas than it consumes. It has one of the largest oil industries in the world, and it exports 10 times as much as it produces domestically. So when it comes to climate change and issues involving the climate and just this cataclysmic situation that we're facing regarding carbon emissions and oil and moving on to green renewable energy, this was a very important election, and the people seem to have sided with those that want to at least somewhat tackle these issues. And I say somewhat because the Labor Party isn't going all in, such as the Greens would have. Strictly moving away from all oil and gas. They want to do a more gradual move away, and I'm not even sure they want to move away completely. But the people have elected them, and they are their new party. Now, I want to talk about the Conservative Party that was in power for the past 8 years in Norway. I think it's hilarious because when you hear the word conservative, when you're an American, you think of, okay, well, they're probably the same as the conservatives here in America. No, no, they're not. It's much different. I would liken our conservatives to what they call their Progress Party, which they refer to as far right, and I don't even think that is an adequate characterization of what our here in America Conservative Party is, because they've gone so far to the right. I don't even know what to refer to them as, but their Conservative Party in Norway, I mean, apparently, so they're the typical conservatives. They're for tax cuts. They're anti-government, free market policies, but they still support a welfare state, and the social market economy. They also voted in 2008 for a law that recognized same-sex marriage and gay adoption rights. Now, I'm not sure how deeply they support those things I just outlined for you, but this is the wonders of other countries that are more social democratic, right? That are thriving social democracies. The conservative politicians have to at least posture in the direction of supporting progressive policies, because places like Norway, Denmark, European countries, they're inherently much more progressive than the U.S. And things like socialism, communism, none of that scares them. They're much more experienced with this stuff, and so I mean they have socialist, communist parties in these European countries and what have you. So their politicians, their conservative politicians, have to at least posture like, we don't want to take money away from the NHS, that's the National Healthcare Service, the UK healthcare system. They have to at least posture, but of course over here in the States, they don't care. They'll just flat out tell you, yeah, we want to do healthcare reform, which means take money away. Social Security reform, which means get rid of Social Security and all the rest. Now, there are many criticisms as well of the Labour Party themselves. Apparently, over the years, they have been becoming ever so increasingly neoliberal. The current leader of the Labour Party is a man that was born into quite a bit of wealth himself, and so a lot of people are questioning how can he truly be for the working man when he himself has never really been the working man. He is from the owner class and what have you. But I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on it. I'm not Norwegian, so it doesn't really concern me. But I just thought it was amazing, and I want to talk about this because, here in America, I can't even fathom really us having a socialist party or a communist party or anything of the such, a Marxist or red Marxist party, as I just said there. I mean, those words here in this country are still quite taboo, even though we've made plenty of progress with the likes of Bernie Sanders characterizing himself as a democratic socialist. The word, or just socialism as a term, becoming much more popular, especially among young individuals. We've made quite a lot of progress, but we still have a very long way to go.